everyone who's watching this. Thank you for tuning in. We have more waiting in store for the start of winter, unfortunately. Some very wet waiting, but some reasonable confidence. I'd say maybe 3 out of 5. 67% confidence in the next kind of cold pool, basically by just the strength of these low pressure systems coming through. So I'll go over it all quite briefly then and get a bit nerdy in a couple minutes time. So there's some low pressure finally coming through as the high pressure moves away on Sunday. Sunday's going to be really wet, so make the most of tomorrow, Saturday, while you can. It will be coming through towards the middle of the afternoon. The sky is clouding over, getting windier, and then Sunday is going to be pretty miserable, and it's going to stick around, potentially get replaced by a separate one. I don't know if the ECMWF shows it. No, it's just got lots of different low pressure systems spinning up. It's going to be a really wet, windy, and awful week, but it's the backside of these lows which are opening up northerlies. Now, when lows get really deep and sit over us, they kind of have to keep spinning eastwards, and when low pressure is to the east of us, as they spin anti-clockwise, it opens up the way for northerlies. Now, there's some uncertainty about when the low pressures are going to move eastwards, but a lot of the models have the low pressures being so deep that they will definitely be sticking around and not toppling. So here's the Arcus model having the really deep low pressure moving eastwards, opening up northerlies on Saturday the 25th. The Icon model here as well showing really deep low pressure sitting over us Thursday, Friday next week, and that will again have to spin out eastwards. And again, the GFS having this second deep system. So there's the one coming through this weekend, and then a second one actually pushing out of the way, even deeper than the first at 971 there. And this moves through a bit later, again opening the northerlies up on Sunday. So there's not certainty about when these northerlies are going to come, but because all of the models are in agreement about the depth of this low pressure that will be sitting over us Thursday, Friday of next week, I'm fairly certain that the knock-on effect of that will be the northerlies as the low pressure moves to the east. This isn't a case of them all saying northerlies being caused by high pressure blocking over Greenland, or a different one saying low pressure to the east of us, or a different one just saying a negative NAO. These are all saying the same low pressure system sitting over us in the short term is what's going to be opening up the northerlies in the mid-term. It's not sort of mid-term will it, won't it. They're certain about the short term, which is then going to implicate this. There's not really any other scenarios that could be the outcome of such a deep low pressure sitting out of us. It's not going to go back over to the ocean with the high pressure sitting over it, and it's not going to be able to move further north into the colder air mass. It could move slightly further south, which will bring more easterly flows and slightly drier air masses. But even then, there's so much moisture in the low pressure that it will bring moisture, northerlies, and cold air when the low pressure moves away. How long will it stick around for? Well, depends on what this high pressure does. If this high pressure stays where it is, it will give us some nice rime early season conditions. And this is where the uncertainty in the mid to long term comes in, because it depends how far across the east the low pressure would move afterwards. If it moves straight east and allows the high pressure to sit over us, would stay cold. The GFS model here has it moving southeast and the high pressure kind of bunching in to give us a more westerly flow, which I don't know if this would stay cold if I put the 850 millibar temperature on. We're above freezing on the summits here, so it will still be chilly, but not cold enough to maintain rime at this time of year. And then just casual November plans coming through if I bob the ECMWF on as well. ECMWF on the other hand has a second band of low pressure developing as this low pressure moves further east, so not allowing the high pressure and positive NAO to get established as the GFS does. And this will give a couple more days into towards the middle of the week afterwards of early season conditions before the westerlies kick back up. So you can see here the low pressures keep fighting down the high pressure systems, bringing back the northerlies, northeasterly, northwesterlies, where the GFS just had it that the Atlantic storms come back in through as this low pressure moves away. Now, how much moisture will be in this low pressure system? Quite a lot is the short answer. I'm sure you could have guessed that yourself. And if I skip forward to when the northerlies cut back in, I've got the jet stream on the right model here. and it will hopefully, I haven't actually looked at this model yet, show some really clear northerlies towards the end of the weekend. There you go, boom. So the low pressure system has moved to the east of us over Scandinavia. There's the northerlies barreling straight down, and there's quite a lot of moisture, so that would incline that the northern Cairngorm is going to be the one to go to. Less moisture on the west coast, but still there will be some. I'll bob the temperature on as well. We're looking at the -5 isotherm. This is at 1,500 meters, so it will be just cold enough, -3 on the tops, while those northerlies flow. Here is the NetWeather's outlook. Some snow risk, storm risk, and quite cold temperatures coming in from Friday toward the weekend, just syncing up exactly with when the low pressure would be moving further to the east of us, bringing northerlies. Just some slightly different charts again to try and reiterate this depth of this low pressure that's going to be sitting over us. This is for Thursday next week. So it's ridiculously deep, and when it's this deep, like I say, it can not do too much. It's going to go eastwards at some point. When is it going to go eastwards? Who knows? But when it does go eastwards, it's opening up northerlies, and there's a lot of moisture in it. This is what I would be looking at as a pretty strong signal now. It could be anywhere from Friday next week into Tuesday the week after, by the time it moves over. But these are the northerlies you want to look for, and this one has it for Sunday lunchtime. So here are the 2 meter temperatures here for Friday. Going into Saturday lunchtime here, and this is when the northerlies could open up any time now from the Sunday onto Monday, and we're into 2 degrees at sea level, 2 to 4 degrees across the Highlands. So that will probably be about -3 on the Ben, -3 on Cairngorm, which should be enough with all the moisture. The rock's going to be super cold now as well. But thank you very much for listening, and fingers crossed next weekend. Oh, we finally get to get going with it all.